Okay, it's me again. Give you a quick update on this 350. I didn't film any of it, but got all the core plugs put in, cam bearings. I didn't film any of it because it's pretty basic stuff. One thing I like to do with the core plugs, I want to make you put a little bit of gasket sealer around the edges, real light layer, both on the core plug itself and then on the surface that it's sealing to. Got the oil plugs in too, gallery plugs. You can see them right here, the front and the back. On this particular engine, the back one's thread in and the front ones are just press in, as you can see. Today, what we're working on is going to be cleaning up most of this stuff in this box right here. Like I said, this is a budget rebuild, so we're reusing the pistons, rods, all that stuff. Just going to pull the plugs, yeah, the rings, get rid of them, clean the pistons up, clean everything else up, and then hopefully today we will have the rotating assembly in this block. Show you more later. Something I want to let you guys know about, as far as installing these cam bearings, a couple of things. You don't want to put that rear core plug in that goes behind the camshaft until after you have these bearings in and fitted. What I mean by fitted is take the old camshaft, you can see it there behind the crankshaft, slide it into each of the bores, get it to where it's going to be riding in the block when it's running, and it should spin freely. If it does not, then you've got a bearing cocked or something else is going on. So I ran into that problem yesterday, which part of the reason why I didn't film anything is because it took a lot longer than it should have. We'll put it that way. So just something else to think about when you're doing these builds. Anyway, more to come. Wanted to show you something real quick. See, this is one of your old compression rings. Break one of these to clean out the grooves only if you're using an old set of pistons. Okay? So if you look down in here in the grooves, you can see, especially these first two rings, there's a bunch of carbon buildup. So what you do, I found works better, not the outside edge because that side's worn, but use the inside edge of it. Stick it in here very carefully, okay? You don't want to cock it sideways because you don't want to remove any of the aluminum. Give it a good scrape. Sometimes it takes a couple of times to get down into it. You can see right here the carbon that it's picking up. So using an old ring, that works best. I've seen it on other videos too, but I don't know if anyone's actually demonstrated it. But like I said, you got to be real careful because you don't want to remove any of the aluminum because there are tight clearances you need to keep in here. This is just to get that old burnt oil out of there. All right, more later. Okay, when installing your crankshaft, you want to make sure each one of these, as you put one in, torque them down to fully torque, whatever the spec is for your vehicle. You want to make sure that you spin the crank and make sure it spins freely with each one as you torque it down. Because if it doesn't, you'll know which one's binding and you can try and figure out how to fix it. All right? All right, so I've already done all the rest of these, but you always want to check your end gap here inside your cylinder bore of the engine you're using. Good rule of thumb is 4/1000ths per inch of bore. Now this is a 350, it's a 4-inch bore, so 4 times 4 is 16. So what I like to do, get a little compress in here, rotate it down, slide the end in, and I'll use a piston that I already have a oil control ring on. Slide it down in, so that way you know it's square in the bore. Take your feeler gauge. Like I said, this is already at 16/1000ths, which you can't see because of that light, but down inside of here, see your gap. Slide it's nice and easy, no problem. But you want to make sure you check all of the rings, including the oil control rings, because too tight a gap causes pistons to explode. It's never good. here it is. Rotating assembly is installed. As you can see, it actually turns like it's supposed to. So, that's it for now. Have a good one.